Hello everyone, I'm Aditya and this is the Android Exploitation course by Attify, and this is the second video of the course. So in the previous video we looked over the Android application overview and the different API levels and the architecture of Android. So in this particular video we are going to have a more in-depth look of the Android applications and how, like what all different files does it contain, right? So so the Android applications are basically a zip archive file. So and the file format is that of APK, that's Android packages, right? So if let's say you get an Android application, so that will have a .apk extension at the end. Well, that's the standard. So even if it does not have the .apk extension, if you look at the file type, it will actually say like a zip archive data version 2.0, right? So let's have a look at an Android application. So I have my training VM running over here. So this is my training VM. Let me just increase the font a bit. So okay. So let's go to desktop Android vulnerable apps. Now we are in the desktop Android vulnerable apps folder where we have a lot of different Android applications present. So if you have downloaded the training VM and if you go to this particular folder, the desktop Android vulnerable apps, and if you do a quick ls over here, let's look for only with the extension .apk, right? So we have these many different applications, and so let's take the example of maybe Dropbox.apk. Okay, so let's say if I do a file on Dropbox.apk, it actually says me that this particular APK file, the Dropbox.apk, is of zip archive data and it has like these particular properties, right? So even if you do a hex dump and look at the Dropbox APK, and you see this starting PK, so this means that this is obviously a zip archive data, right? So if this is a archive file, so one of the things that we can do is we can simply unzip it, right? So let's just use unzip command. So unzip dropbox.apk, destination directory, let's say unzipped Dropbox. Okay, so now the all the contents of the dropbox.apk have been unzipped into the unzipped Dropbox folder over here. So if we go inside the unzipped Dropbox folder now, do an ls over here, we see a bunch of different files like the Android manifest.xml and classes.dex and meta.nf folder, resources folder, and resources.arc. Now these two files, the Android manifest.xml and the classes.dex, are the two most important files in an Android application. So whenever you go for application auditing, or if you're trying to analyze the application, like what it performs, what is happening in the background once the application is being run, so you have to focus on these two different files. One is the classes.dex and the other is the Android manifest.xml, right? So this is how you can simply unzip an Android application which is of the extension .apk and which is of the file format zip archive data, right? So the archive contains all the different Java codes. So all the different Java codes are basically present inside the file called classes.dex, and a bunch of other resources like the images and so on, right? Now all the Android application also have this property that they will run inside a virtual machine. So just like you might have heard of Java Virtual Machine or the JVM in Android, we have something similar that's called a Dalvik Virtual Machine or the DVM, right? So uh, all the applications that you run in an Android environment will actually run in individual different Dalvik virtual machines, right? So let's say if you have three different applications running, so you'll have a minimum of three different Dalvik virtual machines, right? So for Android applications, whenever a developer creates an Android application, the code or the original code is actually written in Java if it is made using the SDK or the software development kit. So once all the code has been written into the Java language, it will get compiled using Java C or the Java compiler, and the Java bytecode will get created, right? And once the Java bytecode is created, there is another compiler called the Dex compiler, which will convert the Java bytecode to the Dalvik bytecode. Now, this Dalvik bytecode will get executed inside the Dalvik VM, and this is the Dex or the Dalvik executable file, which you have already seen over here, the classes.dex file. So if you do a file classes.dex, it actually says a Dalvik Dex file version 035, right? So we'll go more in depth into the Dex file structure and the various other properties of Dex files. But for now, the only thing required is the compilation process. So on the left hand side, you have the normal compilation process of Java applications, and on the other side, you have the compilation process of Android applications, right? So that's all for this video. In the next video, we'll have a look at the Android application signing and how you can sign your own application or view the signature certificate information of the other applications. So yeah, that's all for this video. And if you have any comments or feedback, or if you could give me some tips on what you want to see in the further videos, it would be really great. So feel free to drop me a mail at adi@attify.com. And thanks for watching.